Hello there, and welcome to my review of FUGA Melodies of Steel 3. Hope you are having a wonderful day so far. If you've seen my other content, you can probably already guess my opinion on this game. Let me start off with the setting. In this third and final entry to the FUGA Melodies of Steel story, there's a turn of events where Malt is captured and the kids need to rescue him this time. There are new threats to the peace that these children are constantly fighting for, and knowing that this is their last adventure makes it a bittersweet playthrough. The creator and company, CC2, put out all the stops and took all the ideas from the first two games to come up with the ultimate closure to the trilogy. We get to ride in a souped up best version of the Tyrannus tank, in my opinion. There's a lot more characters, monster designs, illustrations, fleshed out character interactions, and more exciting plot twists. It's a much grander scale too. You can just tell by the kids' new suits. If you thought the previous games were dark, this one knocks it out of the park right from the get-go. It starts with all the kids bandaged up and broken, attempting to save Malt. It was very difficult to see them all like this, and just imagining what they've gone through is heartbreaking. And the CC2 achieved that, which means that they are great storytellers. From that point on, you just want to guide them throughout their journey and ensure the kids make it all the way to the end. I can't say I like the antagonist in this game. He seemed a bit wacko for my taste, but he's a good villain to hate nonetheless. The same strategic and high-risk, high-reward turn-based gameplay you expect is here with improved skills and mechanics. You can set up to 3 different characters with their specific set of skills, attack and speed stats, and weapon type, as well as a partner for added benefits such as healing a little bit of skill points when using normal attacks. Generally, you want to target the enemy's weapon weakness icons so that you can delay their action or lower their defense armor, if they have any, because those hinder your ability to damage them. The characters have been given new skills in this iteration. There's a certain character in the previous 2 games that I seldom use due to their whole stick being tied to the link gauge, and that being tedious trying to see which characters were close to activating their link attack. But in this third game, they have even more use due to their unique skills allowing her to use attacks of the other weapon types, which is very useful when you want to knock out their weaknesses. The twins have this tag team skill that lets you knock out 2 of an enemy's weaknesses in 1 turn, which is pretty good. There's a new mechanic called the combo multiplier when you consecutively hit enemies' weak points and make you deal up to twice the amount of damage. My strategy most of the time was to always go for the enemy's weak points and accrue damage multiplier. There's a Tyrannus skill that will add a colorless weak point after you've destroyed all the weaknesses from an enemy, which is essentially a freebie. I highly suggest you get this skill as soon as possible. Characters will randomly use their unique abilities, which come in clutch sometimes, like Shanna restoring SP when it's low, or Chick blinding all enemies. On top of that, there's another mechanic called assist moves, where you have even more authority over battles. After a certain number of actions, you'll be able to select a character to use for assists. These moves are essentially a free attack that doesn't take up the current character's action, kind of making them pretty powerful. But the battles are still challenging even with these. A character that you unlock early on as an assist that I relied on heavily was Flam, which would knock out 2 armor ranks on all enemies, which is a huge deal since weakening enemies' defenses can take up a chunk of some battles. So I still had trouble with the Force Soul Cannon, like with the second game. It seemed to me that a child will be chosen at random once a boss decreases my health to 50% or less. When a character would be taken into the Soul Cannon, the amount of time before it would fire felt like there wasn't enough for me to defeat the boss, or I just needed to hit like a teensy bit of health to win the battle, but too bad, so sad. I had to say goodbye to one of the kids. Though I probably should have used the defend option more often. So there's this thing called Tyrannus skills that you could use at certain points throughout the map, giving you options like weakening enemies or downright decimating them literally with a push of a button. But using some of these skills would still require money. I would invest in HP and affinity increases. So I mentioned earlier link attacks, which was a mechanic used in the previous two games, but in this game they changed it over to burst attacks. It's similar in a way that it will attack all enemies as well as an additional ability tied to the partner character. It automatically triggers when the burst gauge reaches the threshold, which is unfortunate because I would usually save that for when it is most opportune. For example, when I'm in the battle that has multiple waves and I'm on the second to last wave, the enemies would all have low HP and then the burst attack would trigger, basically overkilling the enemies, when I would rather have all of that damage go to the next wave. Now on to the music and sound. Music was good, similar to the first two, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not sure because first game's music surprised me and that's hard to top it. It had more light-hearted tracks, even the normal battle theme in the first game had a cheerful tone. The third game had mostly serious battle themes. There's this one track between chapters that has a piano playing and it's very beautiful and sad at the same time. You'll know what I'm talking about when you play it. You can always rely on the vocal tracks, and you know it's about to go down when you hear her voice. So fast mode is here, which basically lets you play the game mostly for the story and auto win the majority of the battles. You can swap between fast mode and regular to give you the option if you get stuck in certain areas and would like to return to regular gameplay when you are confident to battle again. Settings for this game are similar to the previous entries. You can set the volume for music, voice, and sound effects, change the characters' voices from French to Japanese, change the characters' outfits during intermissions and ruins expeditions if you have them, and you can toggle the tutorials if you are already familiar with the gameplay. There's also the accessibility option of remapping the buttons. I have to note that there's also a Solo to Robo soundtrack that includes some songs from the DS game that cost $4.99, and this is not a part of the Ultimate Edition according to Nintendo's site page, which is a shame, but it's there anyways. It includes the vocal track Coda, and also some other tracks that I don't remember from that game. It would have been a day one purchase for me if it included Overture and Another Morning. Those are my favorite tracks from Solo to Robo, but I digress. I cannot stress enough how much you should go and play this game. The finale was one of the most satisfying and epic endings to a game I've ever played. I could see the dedication and passion put into this final entry. There's even more secrets to unlock after finishing the main story for lots of replayability. I will definitely come back to this series in the future and am hopeful for other games from CC2. I am glad to have played this and I hope you enjoy or have enjoyed it as well. Thank you for watching and take care.